guys, it's Stacy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the second video in my Countdown to Con series. So this video is going to be about how to budget and save money for a convention. So there are just going to be some tips and tricks that I've come up with just from my experiences at conventions, and hopefully they'll help you too. So my first tip is going to be to prepare ahead of time as much as you can. I started preparing ahead of time as far as saving money when I bought my ticket, which was back in January of this year when Orlando was over and I booked my ticket for Jacksonville. So I pretty much had a year to budget for this convention. I even made monthly and weekly budgets for myself, including all of my other expenses that I had, and included the money I would need for hotels as well as other things like merchandise or just other money that I was going to need for the convention. My other tip is going to be to think about your hotel options. I kind of mentioned this in my last video, but just think about, do you want to stay on site? And if you do, that does tend to be more expensive, at least from my experience. You can find other hotels or other places to stay that are much cheaper, but you're going to lose convenience, and you're also going to have to probably end up paying for parking on a more daily basis rather than just leaving your car there if you're staying at the convention. So that's just something to think about. Honestly, I've done it both ways now. This will be my first time staying at the hotel where the convention is. I have commuted there, which I have said before is definitely doable, and I did save money doing it, but it's really just up to you if that's something that you want to consider when you're doing your budget. If you really just can't afford to stay at the hotel, you can still go to the convention, and you're just going to have to find a different place to stay, which will be cheaper. You might even want to do like an Airbnb, which can be very affordable for people. My next tip is to think about what you really want out of the convention, and what I mean by that is what's most important to you. For me, what's most important to me is the photo ops. I love those the most just because I love the pictures and the memories that I get from them. The autographs are really amazing too, and some people really want those over the photo ops. For me, it's the photo ops. Maybe it's going to the Saturday night concert. It's just something that I think you should think about. Think about what you really want, and if you're on a strict budget, get those things that you really want, and then maybe pass on some of the other things that you don't, like the autographs. This next tip is very hard, and it's to control yourself at the vendors. At least I find this difficult because it's super easy to get sucked in, and honestly, getting sucked in and being in this bubble at a convention is half of the fun. But you just need to be careful, because if you get sucked in too much and you just start buying things left and right from vendors, A, you're probably going to have buyer's remorse, and B, you're going to spend way more than you probably intended to spend. So I kind of mentioned this in my last video too. Just be careful about getting sucked in too fast. Think about what you really want. If there's something that you really do want, that you've had your eye on, or that you just know you're going to want, go ahead and buy it. But if there's other things that you're just kind of feel like you're buying just to buy, just off of seeing it for the first time, maybe give yourself some time. Wait a couple of days. The convention is 3 days. For some people 4 if you arrive there on Thursday. So just be careful at the vendors. Have a good time and get what you really want, but keep in mind that it's very easy to start spending money without even thinking about it. This next one I think is going to be really helpful for a lot of people. I know it's going to be helpful for me staying at the hotel this time, and that is packing your own food and snacks and water. I have not really been able to do this as much because I haven't been staying on site, but this year me and some of my friends that I'm rooming with, we're going to pack a cooler with stuff for sandwiches, snacks, water, soda, whatever it is we need. Of course, maybe 1 or 2 nights we might go out and get something to eat, but you're pretty much there all day, at least a lot of the time you are. So you want to make sure you have food on hand for yourself. You definitely don't want to get dehydrated or not eat enough. So pack as much food as you can on your own, snacks, make sure you bring water, drink lots of water, and you're going to save a lot of money doing that as well. You can find food at the hotel. At least I've been able to find food. I know at the Orlando one, they had kind of like a little cafe, which was really nice because it's convenient. But the food's not anything spectacular, and it's going to cost you a lot of money to get it there. Another thing you can think about doing, which I have no experience with, but I tried to do a little bit of research on, is volunteering at one of these conventions. I've asked some of the volunteers before if they get any kind of cool perks doing it, and they did kind of hint to me that they did get to either do a couple of cool things, or maybe they got to meet some of the stars that come. I've never done it, but you can find a PDF online with kind of the guidelines of volunteering for creation. There are quite a few positions for people to volunteer, and you can fill out an application. Some of the positions were registration, vendor tables, lights, VIP, doors, ushers, photo ops. So there are a lot of opportunities to volunteer. You do have to fill out an application. It also did seem like you had to be available just prior to and after the convention. If that's something you want to do, it's kind of a way to experience the convention without paying for everything as someone who's just attending. It did say you have to provide your own lodging and I believe your own food, but it also sounds like you kind of get some perks along with the job too. My last tip for budgeting for a convention and saving money at a convention is to make sure that you bring some cushion money just in case of emergency. You never know what's going to happen, so you're going to want to make sure you have some extra cash on hand. Also, you might want to think about making sure you have cash on hand and not just a credit card. I'm sure there are ATMs, but if there are a lot of people there, it may be possible that the ATMs run out of cash. These days, I would say probably 99% of places accept card, but I do think it's very important to just always have some cash on hand in case of emergency. So those are all the tips that I have for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to try and do one more video for Countdown to Con. Jacksonville is very soon. We're less than a week away. I'm very excited. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, consider subscribing down below, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!